Hi, today I'm going to show you how to turn a boxed cake mix into an amazing cupcake with just one ingredient. And it's going to be a mocha cupcake, and we're going to be using a boxed chocolate fudge cake mix. I like to use the deeper chocolate flavor because it enhances the coffee flavor, but it doesn't overpower it, and the coffee doesn't overpower the chocolate. And you just make the cake mix according to the box instructions. And this one calls for 3 eggs. And I've got the oven preheating to 350 degrees. And it calls for 1 1/4 cup of water. And 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. Now, don't make fun of me. I cook a lot, and so I buy this gigantic bottle of cooking oil. And this is just vegetable cooking oil. Now, here's the secret ingredient that will make these cupcakes out of this world. It's just your instant coffee that's in the individual packets. And you just sprinkle that in there. 1 packet. And stir it up. And the box says 2 minutes with an electric mixer, but I just do it until it's well blended. Not a bunch of chunks or dry pieces. And it turns out just fine for me. And then that looks about good. And then I've already got the cupcakes, the cupcake pan with the papers in it already. And I just use a simple ice cream scoop, and it puts the perfect amount of cake mix into each papers. It fills it about 3/4 of the way full. You don't want it real full because when it overflows, it just makes an ugly cupcake. I'm just picky that way. I like it to be a perfect little flat cupcake with just the right amount of frosting where I don't like a lot of frosting on this, so the frosting recipe I'm going to show you and the way to apply it, it's just going to put just the right amount where it's just the perfect cake to frosting ratio. And there you have it. And then we're going to pop this in the oven and cook it for, it says on the box 14 to 19 minutes, but I like to cook them at about 16 minutes. That's about the best consistency. It's not too dry, it's not undone, and when you stick a wooden toothpick in it, it should come out clean. So I'll be back. All right, while the cupcakes are baking in the oven, I'm going to show you how to make the mocha frosting. You take a stick of butter and make sure that it's softened, because otherwise it's going to be a mess. Now, you don't want it melted because it'll change the consistency of the frosting. It just has to be softened. And you beat that together. Just kind of get it mixed up started. Now we add our coffee, the instant coffee again. And this time you're going to use 2 of the individual serving packets. And I didn't say it in the first one, but I like to use the Colombian roast, which is the little bit darker, stronger flavor, because this recipe has so much sugar that it doesn't overpower it, and it's not bitter. All right, now you're going to use 32 ounces, which I think this is 2 pounds. Yep, 2 pounds of powdered sugar. That's a lot of powdered sugar. And you're going to add about half of it right now. And then you're going to put in 2 tablespoons of milk to start out with. Thank you, Sam, for my measuring spoon things. They're so cute. I love them. All right, now you're going to mix this on low because otherwise you're going to have powdered sugar all in your face. And then as it gets mixed together, you turn it up a little faster. Okay. Hang on, I forgot the most important ingredient, chocolate. All right. And I just use the cocoa powder. You're going to need a 1/4 cup of cocoa powder. And with baking, you have to be pretty precise because all the ingredients have to. You'll either get it too thick or too thin if you don't follow the ingredients exactly. And that's with any baking. All right, now it looks like it's a little bit thick, so I'm going to add another tablespoon. So that's 3 tablespoons of milk so far. And you got to be careful when you're adding liquid to powdered sugar because it starts out kind of thick, but then when you start mixing it, it gets runnier and runnier. Okay, at this point you want to scrape the sides of the bowl because the powdered sugar and the butter have clung to parts where the mixer's not touching. You want to make sure you get that all mixed together good. And the bottom too, in case there's any stragglers down there of coffee grinds. All right, now you can add the remainder of your sugar. And again, start it out real slow, otherwise it's going to slap powdered sugar everywhere. Okay, you can see now that it's super powdery, so you're going to add 2 more tablespoons of milk at this point. And that should about do it, but sometimes depends, it might be a little thick. Okay, again, you want to scrape the bottoms. Now this is where I add water. I stop adding the milk because the water, I don't know. I like icing that when it sits out a little bit, it gets kind of hard and crusty. I just like that. So when it seems if you just do it with milk, it doesn't do it as much as when you add a little bit of water to it too. Don't know the science of that. It just does. Trust me. That was 1 tablespoon. Okay, see how it's still real thick? And you're going to use this. You can spread it on with a knife, but I don't. I love the pastry bags because It doesn't pull the cake at all, and it gets it on, and it looks so pretty. But the problem is if it's too thick, it's hard and it'll pop the bag, because I use a little plastic bag. And this is way too thick for the bag. So again, add another tablespoon of water. That looks great, and if you kind of tell, it's almost the consistency, a little bit heavier than whipped cream, and you want it to be that consistency. That's perfect. And I just scrape the sides and I give it another go around with the mixer. These standalone mixers are a lifesaver. I tell you what, if you can get one, because they just are so handy. You can walk away. Like in this case, I forgot the pastry bag, so I gotta go get it. And you can let it mix while you're walking away. Let's get all this stuff out of the way. Alright, and then you gotta cut the tip off, because that's where you put your little frosting tip, which I didn't grab. Oh. Alright. And this one is I like to use a real big tip for cupcakes. It's the 1M size. Cupcakes are done. Alright. Okay, I had to take a step back because I had to scrape all the icing down and take it off there. But this is the pastry bag put together with the tip in there, and then I roll the top of the bag over the top of my hand, so it makes it easier to load it with the frosting. And you just shove it all down in there. Now you can put it all in there at once, but I like to kind of save a little bit at the top because it gets too full and then it gets hard to handle. Just cram it down in there, and then you fold the bag back up. And then you squeeze down the frosting till it gets down to the tip. And you twist it. And that keeps it nice and sealed at the end. Let's go grab some cupcakes to frost. Alright, I'm back. These cupcakes have been cooled, so they're nice and they won't melt the icing. And it's just a simple swirl process, and you'll make the most beautiful cupcakes. And you just start by the center and just go around real slow till you get it one. You just do that for all your cupcakes. And it makes 24 cupcakes, and this is enough frosting to frost all 24 cupcakes. Chocolate and coffee are my absolute favorite flavor combination. And you don't have to push down. In fact, don't push down, because then the icing gets all squished. You just hover about a 1/4 inch above the cupcake and let the frosting come out and go around. And as you squeeze the frosting out of the bag, you twist the top and it tightens it down and pushes the frosting down, so it's Really easy. And I like to do things that are easy to make. And there you go. And if you want to get real fancy, you can get the chocolate covered espresso beans and put one on each cupcake, and it's real pretty presentation. But that's it. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.